As you can see, here in beautiful Addis Ababa, enormous city. And as you can tell, it's very busy. We're now in the early morning. Let's see, what time is it here? 8:30 in the morning, so this is rush hour. This is a very famous roundabout right down here. And you can tell the diaspora, it's called, roundabout. Over there, further, if you can, the distance, you can see the British Embassy. So it's a busy city, but I'm here to talk about Jesus like I am everywhere I go. And we'll be heading out and actually doing some talks on the very thing I'm talking about today. And that is, what do we do with the violence that Jesus did? Let's go to the temple itself in Matthew chapter 21. Let me get my Bible here. In Matthew 21, he goes into the temple. Jesus entered the temple, this is verse 12, and drove out all who were buying and selling there, it says in verse 12. He overturned the tables of the money changers and the benches of those selling doves. It is written, he said to them, my house will be called a house of prayer, but you are making it a den of thieves. Just 2 verses, and people say, see, Jesus is violent. He's very violent here. He's overturning the tables and he's beating the people. And that proves that we can do what Jesus did. We can be equally violent. Well, no, hold on a minute. There's just 2 verses there. Why don't you go to John 2? Let's go to John 2, because there it's more unpacked. And this is the beautiful thing about the Gospels. We have not just one witness, we have 4 witnesses. John 2 says a little bit more about this same incident. Now remember, John wrote much later. John was an eyewitness to all of these events. And he goes on, and starting with verse 13, it says, when it was almost time for the Jewish Passover, Jesus went up to Jerusalem. In the temple courts, he found men selling cattle, sheep, and doves, and others sitting at the tables exchanging money. So he made a whip out of cords and drove all from the temple area. Now, if you just stop there, it sounds like he was whipping people. Continue reading the rest of the verse. So he made whips out of cords and drove out all from the temple area, both sheep and cattle. He scattered the coins of the money chain. So the whip was used against the animals, not against people, all right? Muslims, are you getting that? I hear so many Muslims saying Jesus whipped the money changers. No, he did not. Look at John 2. He did not whip the money changers. He scattered the coins of the money changers. There you go. So he overturned the tables, like it says in Matthew, overturned their tables. And then verse 16, to those who sold doves, he said, get these out of here. How dare you turn my Father's house into a market? So what's happening is he used the authority of his voice to drive out the people. He didn't touch anybody. Used no violence whatsoever. The cord, a whipcord, was against the animals, which is what we do today. How do you drive animals anywhere, even in America? That's how we get animals to move. Now, if you want to call that violence, fine, folks, but do not say that he whipped anybody. He didn't touch anybody. It was the authority of his voice. And this is interesting because Christ used his voice quite a bit all the way through his ministry. That authority, and that's all we're permitted to do. We're not permitted to use weapons of this world like whips against people or swords. What's interesting, we're going to talk about now some other areas, and we're going to show exactly when violence was used. But for this case, there at the temple, violence was not used against anyone. Animals? Yes. Authority of his voice? Against people? Yes. That's all that is. God bless you. This is Jay here in Addis Ababa. Over and out.